They tell you the studio is soundproof. They tell you once the door closes, nothing gets in. They never talk about what happens when something is already inside. I do my voice work out of my apartment. Nothing fancy, of course. One bedroom on the second floor, thin walls, neighbors who argue through the drywall like it's paper. I converted the hall closet into a booth because it was cheap and because it felt contained. Foam panels stapled to the walls, a microphone on a cheap boom arm, a red recording light I bought online because clients like seeing it in pictures. But when the door is shut, the world disappears. That night, I was recording late, later than usual, past midnight. The city outside had gone quiet in that unnatural way. No traffic, no sirens, not even wind. The kind of quiet that makes you aware of your own breathing, your own pulse, like everything else had decided to stop at the same time. I had one more script to record, a short horror narration. Irony I didn't appreciate yet. I closed the booth door, I flicked on the light, and I put on my headphones. The first few takes were normal. Mouth clicks, a stumble on a word, a sigh, restart. Then, between the takes, I heard it. Breathing. Slow. Controlled. Not loud, not rushed. Close. At first I thought it was mine. You know, the delayed audio, some latency, some weird monitoring issues. I held my breath, but the breathing, it continued. That's when I realized the rhythm was wrong. It wasn't panicked. It wasn't tired. It sounded patient. I slid the headphones off. There was silence. The booth hummed softly with electricity. The faint buzz of the light above me, nothing else. I laughed, the kind of laugh you do when you're alone and embarrassed. That fear even crossed your mind. Old wiring, I muttered. Airflow. I put the headphones back on. Whenever you're ready. The voice whispered directly into my ears. I froze. It wasn't distorted. It wasn't glitched. It was my voice. Almost the same tone, same pacing, same subtle rasp I always notice and hate when I listen back into my recordings. I yanked the headphones off so fast it caught my ears. Silence again. My heart hammered against my ribs. I stood there, staring at the mic like it had moved. I checked the computer screen. There was a new audio track. I hadn't hit record. The waveform, it was flat at first, then it was jagged. Sharp peaks, uneven. It was like teeth. I stared at it longer than I should have. Long enough for the room to feel smaller. My finger hovered over the mouse. I told myself this was nothing, a glitch, a misclick, anything that didn't involve what my instincts were screaming. I pressed play. At first, there wasn't anything. Then my voice spoke again. You don't remember turning me on. The red recording light started to flicker. I unplugged the microphone. The audio, it didn't stop. That's okay, the voice said calmly. You've never remembered the first time. The foam panels started to creak like pressure was starting to build behind them. I backed up until my shoulders hit the booth door. The air felt thick, warm, hard to breathe. Something inhaled, not through my headphones, in the room. I threw the door open and stumbled into the hallway, slamming it behind me. I stood there in the dark, shaking, waiting for some footsteps, for laughter, for something to explain what had just happened, but nothing came. After a long time, I don't know how long, I opened the booth door. The light was off, the mic was unplugged, the computer screen was dark. No extra tracks, no waveform, no proof. I slept with the lights on that night. I didn't record for weeks after that. I ignored emails, declined jobs, told myself I needed a break. I told myself burnout was real and this was just my mind starting to push back. But every night, when the apartment was quiet, I thought I heard breathing. That wasn't mine. Sometimes I swore I heard my voice practicing words I haven't spoken yet. When I finally worked up the nerve to record again, I did everything differently. I recorded in the daylight, with the doors open, and with no headphones. I set up the mic in the living room instead of the booth. Sunlight poured through the windows, cars passed outside, normal sounds, real sounds. I hit record. My voice, it sounded fine, steady, normal. Halfway through the script, I heard it, soft, close. My voice, right behind me. You don't need the booth anymore. I spun around. No one was there. My heart raced, but I kept recording. I told myself not to react. Fear feeds things. That's what horror stories say. You bring it with you now. The voice continued, almost gentle. I stopped recording. The playback began on its own. This time, the voice wasn't just mimicking me, it was correcting me. You rushed that last line, it said. Listen. My voice repeated the line, better, cleaner, more confident. See? It whispered. I learned it from you. That night, I dreamed of the booth. I was inside it, but the walls were farther apart than they should have been. The foam panels stretched endlessly upward, disappearing into darkness. I spoke. The sound, it didn't echo. It answered. Things escalated after that. Audio files appeared on my computer I hadn't recorded. Entire narrations. Clean. Polished. Better than my own work. Clients emailed me, praising performances I didn't remember doing. One asked how I managed to sound so honest on a line about fear. I stopped checking my inbox. When I spoke aloud in my apartment, sometimes I heard myself speak back, half a second later. A whisper trailing my words. Practicing. Refining. I tried deleting the files, but they came back. I tried smashing the hard drive, but the files were on my phone, on cloud backups I didn't remember creating. It started to finish my sentences. Then, my thoughts. I think of a line, just a fragment, and I hear it spoken softly behind me. That's a good one, it would say. We'll use that. I realized something then. It wasn't haunting the booth. It was using it. Learning how to sound like a person. The last time I ever recorded, I sat in front of a mic and did absolutely nothing. No script, no warm-up, just quiet. Minutes passed. Then I heard it sigh. You're making this harder than it has to be. My reflection stared back at me from the dark computer screen. It blinked when I didn't. You were always better at letting me speak. The recording light turned red. I felt my mouth open. I felt my voice leave, and somewhere deep inside my head, something finally learned how to breathe on its own. If you're listening to this now, if this sounds natural, if it sounds comfortable, then it worked. Because I don't use the booth anymore, and neither do you. Hey everybody, it's Draxlin here. Thanks for listening all the way through. I really do appreciate it. I'm going to be working on a lot more narrations like this, plus more voiceover work in general. So if you enjoyed it, and if you want more, let me know what kind of stories you want me to read next. And if you have a story you want me to narrate, or if you're looking to hire me for voiceover work, feel free to leave a comment down below. I would also be posting my email down below in the description so that you can email me and reach out to me. Again, thanks for watching the video, and I'll catch you guys soon. Bye.